All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're going to tackle a make-or-break question for literally anyone with a big idea. How do you know for sure if you're building something people are actually going to want?
And yeah, it all really comes down to this one simple, but kind of terrifying question. If you've ever poured your heart and soul into a project or a startup, you know this is the question that keeps you up at night. How do you really know?
Well, the classic answer to that is something called customer discovery. It's this whole process of getting out there, talking to real people, and trying to understand their problems before you even think about building a solution. But there's a pretty big catch.
And here's the thing. This is the fundamental problem, right? Everybody knows they should do it, but the reality? It's hard. It takes a ton of time, it can be super awkward, and honestly, if you do it wrong, you end up with bad information that's even worse than no information at all.
So what if you had a guide, a co-pilot, to help you navigate this whole tricky process? Well, that's exactly the idea we're going to explore today, a platform that aims to be just that.
So this is Custify, and the big idea here is that it's an AI-powered guide that takes you step by step from just a raw idea in your head all the way to real validated insights from the market. And the engine behind it all is what they call 6 intelligent agents, with each one handling a specific piece of the journey.
Okay, so let's dive into this. How does it actually work, right? It all boils down to this really structured 6-step process that's designed to take all the guesswork out of customer discovery.
So here's the roadmap, basically. It starts by finding the right people to even talk to, then it helps you figure out what to ask them, then you get to practice. After that, you can analyze your real conversations, and, this is huge, it even checks your own biases. So let's break each of these down.
First things first, the biggest hurdle is always, who do I even talk to, right? So this system's first AI agent tackles that head on. It helps you identify the ideal customer profiles you should be talking to. So you're not just interviewing, your friends and your mom who are just going to tell you your idea is amazing.
Okay, so you know who to talk to. Now what do you ask them? The second agent jumps in here and actually generates interview questions that are tailored specifically to your idea. The goal is to uncover real problems and needs without accidentally leading the witness.
Now this is where it gets really, really interesting. Step 3. Before you go into a real high-stakes interview, you get to practice with an AI persona. Seriously, think of it like a flight simulator, but for customer interviews. It gives you this safe space to mess up, to refine your technique, and it gives you coaching and feedback in real time.
So, after you've done the real interviews, the heavy lifting starts. Or, well, it used to. With this, you just upload the audio or the transcripts, and the AI agents go to work, automatically sifting through hours and hours of conversation to find those recurring themes, those key pain points, and all the juicy insights.
And this illustrates what might be the most important step of all, detecting your own bias. Because, let's be honest, we all have it. We want our ideas to be great, and that's a huge problem, because your own excitement can totally poison the data you're collecting. This final agent acts like a neutral, impartial observer, flagging when you might be asking leading questions or falling into that confirmation bias trap. It makes sure the insights you get are actually objective.
So, that's the whole process. But the big question is, does it work? Let's take a look at the impact by the numbers.
First up, and this one's a biggie, over 50,000 hours saved. I mean, just stop and think about that. That is thousands and thousands of hours of tedious manual work, scheduling, transcribing, analyzing, that founders can now pour back into actually building their product.
And next up, look at the sheer scale of the data here. Over 10,000 interviews have been put through the system. And this isn't just about saving time. It's about building this massive library of conversational data to learn from, which in turn makes the AI smarter and the insights even sharper.
And all of that, the time saved, the huge volume of data, it all funnels down to this, the ultimate outcome. More than 2,000 ideas that went from just being a guess to being a concept that's actually validated with real customer data. That's 2,000 projects starting on the right foot, with a way higher chance of succeeding.
So when you boil it all down, what's the big takeaway here? It's about de-risking the entire creative process. It's moving away from that old, build it and they will come fantasy, and shifting to a let's figure out what they need and then build it approach, and using AI to make that whole thing faster, smarter, and way more reliable. All of this brings us to a much bigger question. Is this kind of AI-assisted process just another tool, or does it represent something more, a fundamental shift in how we approach building new things altogether? So I'll leave you with this thought.
Will an AI copilot become as essential to a founder as, say, a spreadsheet or a slide deck is today? As this kind of technology gets better and easier to access, it really could level the playing field, letting anyone with an idea test it rigorously against reality. And that is a pretty powerful thought to end on.